la, 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 together now, la, 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 ya, la, 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 ya, la, 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 ya, la, 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 once again now, la, 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 la. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la.
Shabbat Shalom
Shabbat Shalom.
and welcome. It's nice to welcome you who are here with us in the room and those of you who are joining us online. Together, we make this very beautiful, extended, connected community. As our service begins, just a reminder, if you have a cell phone, just take a moment, check it, make sure it's quiet so as not to disturb our worship. And as we gather for Shabbat, let's all just take a moment to look around, find something beautiful around us, think about something that was a blessing this week. Take a moment to just be here, to feel the chairs supporting you, the floor under your feet. Maybe take a deep breath and settle into Shabbat. As we begin our service, it's nice to make some new friends. So we do invite you to take a moment, find a mask you don't know, introduce yourself to that person, and wish them Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
For those of you I haven't had the opportunity to meet personally, I'm Jennifer Fessler, president of Temple Shari Emmett. And I can't believe October is almost over. The next 3 Shabbats are ones you are not going to want to miss. On October 29th, Cantor Lisa and the band will be joining Cantor and Rabbi for another fun rock Shabbat right here. On November 5th is our Kabbalat Shabbat starting at 6:30. Remember, the first Friday of every month is an early service, family service for us. It starts at 6:30. And we will be having an empanada of a night. You don't want to miss it. On July 12th, I put 11th, but July 12th, nope, I take that back. Okay, it's been a long day, apologies.
November 11th.
On July 11th, we welcomed Rodef Torah's sacred Torahs to our ark. We were moving in together. And on November 12th, we will be finally celebrating TRT and TSC's merger with a ceremonial signing of our marriage ketubah. We'll be having a pre-neg celebration in the tent, and then we'll be having a dessert oneg. So please join us. Please try to go to our website and sign up so we know how much food to prepare. We don't want anybody going hungry. Men's Club had a great breakfast last week, and they had such a good time playing softball. They're going to be playing again on Sunday against Marlboro Jewish Center. Come out and cheer Mom. And if you're not getting their up-to-date emails, please reach out to the front office, and we'll make sure we connect you with the Men's Club. Last night, I know many of us were there. It was the Sisterhood beginning of the year dinner in the social hall, and it was amazing. We heard from president of the WRJ, and we heard from many past presidents on their why they got involved. And it was really interesting to hear the different connections people have made over the years. On November 4th, the Sisterhood is having their second evening book club. They're reading The Third Daughter. Please join us on Zoom. All that information is online. And Tuesdays, we're playing Mahjong. My son started playing Mahjong the Chinese way, and I never understood why it became a Jewish thing. But you know what? We had an amazing time, and we will be doing that every Tuesday for the next 5 weeks. So please join us. It's not too late. Yoshi is busy. Yoshi is our youth group of Shari Emmett, and on Sunday, Yoshi Juniors will be having a blessing bag brigade. As you walked in, you might have seen a big box of toiletries and soaps and toothbrushes, etc. These children are going to be doing the great mitzvah of putting these bags together so we can help the homeless in our community. On Thursday, October 28th, the temple will be hosting a blood drive. Please consider performing the mitzvah of helping save someone's life and consider donating. I want to say mazel tov to our B'nai Mitzvah for the weekend, and I want to certainly thank our ushers, keeping us all in order. You're being watched, so be careful. I look forward to seeing all of you at the Oneg and meeting all of you individually. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Well, I invite those of you who are at home to take out your candles as we begin our Shabbat worship with the lighting and the blessing of the candles and the wine. It is my pleasure to call up our B'nai Mitzvah for this weekend and their parents to lead us in the blessings. Jenna Lizer and her parents Elise and Jonathan, and Matt Zwick and his parents Robert and Garen.
We'll begin on page 121. You can find your prayer book right underneath your seats.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'chol ner shel Shabbat. Blessed is the eternal, our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us through mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
We continue now, page 123, with the Kiddush.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among us are sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You choose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Pray hagafen.
Amen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Good job, us. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We continue reading together, page 127. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace.
On page 138, we join together in Lechado Di Likrat Kala. Come, my friend, come, my good, my dear friend, to welcome Shabbat, who is descending. La 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 Lechado Di, ya la 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 Likrat Kala, la 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 Penei Shabbat. Shabbat nekabel ya la 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 lechadodi ya la 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 likrat kala la 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 penei Shabbat nekabel shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad ishmianu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'letiferet v'litila la 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 ya la 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 lechadodi ya la 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 likrat kala ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu b'nei lecha imekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila la 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 ya la 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 lechadodi ya la 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 likrat kala la 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela Ore, Kumi Ori, Uri, Uri, Shir Daberi, Kevod Adonai, Halayich Nigla, La La La, Ya La 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 Lechadodi. La 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 likrat kala la 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise and face the entrance. Hoi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam b'simcha La la la, Likrat Gala. La 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 la, B'nai Shabbat. B'nai Shabbat nekabela. Ya la 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 la, Lechadodi. Ya la 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 la, Likrat Gala. La 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 la, B'nai Shabbat. B'nai Shabbat nekabela. Page 144, our Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'alamad yivarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael v'agala ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'emeru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam u'la'alamei amaya Yitbarach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yidaleh ve'yidhalal Shemei D'Kudsha Richu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran me'alma v'meru Amen. Page 146, our call to worship. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
We continue reading together, page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom balayla, golel or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tsevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv arahim. Page 151, we read together in the middle of the page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad join together. Ve'ata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'lechtecha v'derech u'shochbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kiddoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liyod lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
Page 157, we read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and your love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Kamocha ba'elim Adonai Kamocha nedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot oseh melech Nora tehilot oseh melech Malchutecha ra'u v'anecha Ukei hayam libnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'eliyanu ve'amru Ze'eliyanu ve'amru Adonai Meloch le'olam va'ed Adonai Meloch le'olam va'ed Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov U'galo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Page 161, we read together in the middle. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Please rise for our tefillah, pages 164 and the even pages through 170. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer, U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav leHoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umkayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha ba'al givurot, Umido melach, Melech memit u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom ya'alucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Page 173, together at the top. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 177, together at the top. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, u'lecha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atah melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. We pause for a moment of silent prayer.
We continue now, page 362, with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of Torah. Please rise as the ark is opened.
En kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'en kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אב הרחמים, היטיבה ברצונך את ציון. תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים. כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך אל רם ונישא אדון עולמים. כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. גדלו אדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד. כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה והעמיד נעשה לכל לראש.
Please be seated. This week's Torah portion, Vayera, is just chock full of your favorites. It starts with Abraham sitting in the heat of the day in his tent, recovering from his circumcision at the age of 90, which he did to himself. And as he recovers, 3 strangers appear outside his tent. He brings them in, he welcomes them. This story is followed by the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And then we have the story of Sarah becoming pregnant and being angry that Hagar's child may supplant her child. And so she tells Abraham to send Hagar and Ishmael out into the wilderness where they almost die of thirst until another messenger appears and points to the water, the well that is right close to them. And she knows at this point that her child will survive and that the 2 of them will be okay. And then the story ends this week. The Parsha ends with the binding of Isaac. And, you know, as a rabbi, how do you even choose which one of those you want to talk about on a Friday night? Because they're also full, which is why it's great that we read Torah over and over again, because every year we can take a look at different stories. So, the cantor will be reading for us this evening, and let's all join together in the blessings. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Vayera elav Adonai, and so appeared to him God, Be'elonei Mamre, by the terebinths of Mamre, or the oaks of Mamre. Vehu yoshev petach ha'ohel kechom hayom, and he, that is Abraham, was sitting at the entrance of the tent in the hottest part of the day. Vayisa enav vayar, and Abraham looked up, and he saw, v'hine shalosha anashim nitzavim alav, there were 3 men across from him. Behold, there were 3 men across from him. Vayar otz likratam, when he saw them, he ran to greet them. Mi petach ha'ohel vayishtachu artza, and he ran from the tent of meeting, and he bowed low to the ground. Vayomar, and he said, Adonai. It could be gentlemen, or it could be Adonai. Imna matzati chen be'enecha, if indeed I have found favor in your eyes, al na ta'avor me'al avadecha, do not pass by your servant. Yikachna me'at mayim, let a little water be brought, v'rachatzu raglechem, and you can wash your feet. V'hisha'anu tachat ha'etz, and you can relax here under the tree. Ve'ekecha fat lechem, and let a little bread be brought. V'sa'adu libechem, and let your heart enjoy a meal. Achar ta'avoru, before you pass by. Ki al kein avdechem al avdechem, avartem al avdechem. And because you have come across your servant's way. Vayomeru kein ta'aseh ka'asher dibarta. And they said, okay, do as you have said.
Let's join in the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
So what's the biblical for okay? The biblical Hebrew for okay? Asking
Cain.
for Cain, okay.
Cain.
Okay. Well, Rabbi Edward Feinstein shared the following story, a very touching story. He said, some years ago on a trip to Israel, we were invited to a special visit at Yad Vashem, Israel's remarkable Holocaust museum. We met a man named Shaya Ben Yehuda, director of international relations, a professorial man in his late 50s, soft of features and of gentle demeanor. He told us that the Yad Vashem archive holds 140 million documents. Until recently, they were stored in file cabinets in warehouses, far too many to catalog. But some years ago, Yad Vashem obtained a supercomputer and a software protocol that scans and catalogs documents, and most remarkably, connects them one to the other. Imagining a jigsaw puzzle with 140 million pieces in 20 different languages from 24 countries and cultures, and suddenly we have a way to put them together. Our project, he tells us, is to make a dossier, a biography of every victim of the Holocaust, every single one. He shows us an example. A French woman, Hannah Goldberg, was taken from her family home in Paris in 1943 and died at Auschwitz later that year. In 1980, her sister, now living in New York, visited Yad Vashem and filed reports identifying Hannah as a victim of the Holocaust, and she left an old photo. For 30 years, this remained, as so many other documents, sitting in a file. Well, once the computer was up and running, the pieces began to come together. Shia pulled a document out of the file. This is the deportation order that took Hannah Goldberg from Paris to a holding camp in Danzig. And here another deportation order transferring her from Danzig to Auschwitz. Here is the train manifest with her name and the number of the boxcar that took her. And here the log from Auschwitz on the day she arrived, which was the day she was taken to the gas chamber and murdered. But there is one more thing, he tells us, and this is astonishing. Here is a letter Hannah wrote to her mother and sister. Somehow she wrote it on the train on the way to Auschwitz and dropped it out of the car when the train stopped in a French village. It was retrieved by a French railway worker who turned it over to the troops who liberated the town, who sent it on to Yad Vashem. In the letter to her mother and her sister, Hannah Goldberg says, "Please don't be afraid, please don't be sad, don't give up on life, and don't give up hope. I'm strong, you be strong too." Now, Shia tells us, now Hannah Goldberg is a person again. The Nazis took her and made her a number. We have made her a human being once again. She is a person with a soul, with love, and with courage. This is what we hope we do for every victim of the Holocaust: give them back their names, their faces, their words, their stories. Well, by this time, says Rabbi Feinstein, we were all weeping openly. So I asked him, Shia, how do you do this? Why do you do this? Why do I do this? He looked at me for a long moment, and then finally he says, because we Jews, we don't throw anyone away. Not the living, not the dead. They are too precious. We don't throw anyone away. And Rabbi Feinstein continued saying, as good a definition of Jewish ethics as I've ever heard, it begins in the eyes, who we see, who we don't see. Sight is a physiological reflex when light hits the retina. Vision is something else. Vision is a social construct. We are taught what to see. We are taught what not to see. And that is exactly the essence of our Torah portion this evening. Because Vayera means to see, to understand, to have vision. Abraham is in the desert at the hottest part of the day. He sees 3 strangers coming his way. He stops what he is doing. He gets up. He runs out to see them. After surgery in his old age, he invites them into the tent, washes their feet, feeds them, and gives them shade and respite. Abraham, we come to learn, is the antithesis of his time. And how do we know that? Because God tells him that God is going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? Because the same strangers that appeared in Abraham's tent then go on to visit Sodom and Gomorrah. And they show up at the home of Lot, Abraham's nephew, who takes them in. But the people of the city show up demanding that Lot turn the strangers over so that they can have their way with them and be intimate with them, is literally what the text says. Whereas Abraham gave these strangers safety, the Sodomites sought to harm them. And the question that the text leaves us with is, how do we see others? How do we view them? Do we consider what we can do for other people, or do we only focus on what we can get from them? Do we strive to see and help those who are vulnerable, or do we try to exert power and control over them? Do we have the eyes of Abraham, or do we have the eyes of the Sodomites? Vayera tells us it's all in the seeing. How do we treat others? Do we treat them as well as we can?
That is the question to ponder this Shabbat. From our spouses to our children, our friends and family, the homeless, the poor, the stranger that walks in the store, the Republican, the Democrat, the person we go to work with, or the person we sit next to on the bus. A story was told of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who would walk home from synagogue on Shabbat morning. And one Shabbos, he was approached by a panhandler who asked him for $1 for food. Heschel looked saddened, and he said, "My brother, it's Shabbat and I don't carry money. But if you meet me here tomorrow, I'll be sure to have something for you." The fellow responded, "Thank you, Rabbi. You called me brother. That's enough." And that is what our text asks us this evening. We can learn from Rabbi Heschel that each of us can and is supposed to raise up the humanity in everyone around us. And when we do that, we truly become the descendants of Abraham. Shabbat Shalom. We always take a moment in our service to say a prayer, a Misha Berach, for those who are ill and those who are in need of healing and wholeness, be it their body, their mind, or their spirit. We certainly hold in our hearts all of those who are afflicted with COVID-19, and we pray for their speedy and complete recovery. And we pray for our medical care workers, all those who perform the art of healing. We pray that they remain strong and resilient to do the holy work of healing. We also call to mind in our prayers this evening Nika Mandelberg, Daniel Minerva, Lori Schulman, Stephen Rice, Jordan Silverman, Richard Cohen, Karen Pine, Elliot Rudick, Gabby Bursey, Brian Roche, Colleen Syatt, Michael Goldring, Mindy Minerva, Norma Maneker, Eileen Fireman, Marla Boucher, Jan Gale, Ron Klug, Joel Borshoff, Adam Abtaker, and Karen Schiffman, Grayson Shukowski, Patricia Roiger, Marilyn Jacobs, Vian Alfred Miller, Nadia McDonald, Barbara Lovino, Itu Fang, Adrian Apuza, Spencer Gray Rothstein, Benita Apple, Elka Pravda Gantz, Brody Scher, Alan Zwick, Yosef Mayer, Tammy Bowling, Carol Levine, Jared Narotsky, Bob Clatterman, Rochelle Raylick, Susan Vitale, Vera Schwartz, Samuel Finkelstein, Philip Travato, Arnold Levine, Jenna Schneller, Bonnie Eskowitz, and Nechama Leah. If there are people that you know that could use a prayer for healing, we invite you to simply say their names aloud now. Louisa Cohen. For those we've named, for those we haven't, and for those we name silently in our hearts, Misha Berach, Avotenu Vimotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless all those who are ill. May their doctors and nurses be skillful and compassionate. May those who care for them find comfort and support. And may they all be granted refuat ha-nefesh, refuat ha-guf, the complete healing of body and spirit. As together we say, Amen.
Bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us
Please rise for Hagbah.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לבני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. לה 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 יה לה 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 יה לה 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 La 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 la. Etz Chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Please be seated. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those we have drawn into our hearts with our own. This evening, we remember the more than 751,000 Americans and the 4.9 million around the world who've succumbed to COVID-19. We remember those whose families are currently in the 7-day mourning period of Shiva, Robert Rubinacci, brother of Mary Ellen Rubinacci, and those whose families are in the 30-day mourning period of Shloshim, Jack Agrin and Jan Sandusky. We recall the names of those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their passing, falls this week: Ida Abedinsky, Ben Alpern, Susan Bailey, Stanley Bacalar, Anna Boucher, Stephen Bursey, Isaac Kapruv, Jack Shamoff, Paul Churlin, Mildred Cohen, Nathaniel Cohen, Seymour Cooper, Samek Felder, Max Fisher, Samuel Fox, Faye Friedman, Louis Friedman, Martin Glashow, Joseph Karp, Arthur Kraus, Theda Kushel, Thomas Letzen, Benjamin Liu.
Edward Lewis, Samuel Lipschitz, Sam Litwack, Hyman Nemiroff, Shirley Pasternak, Joseph Press, Yitzhak Rabin, Esther Schiff, Thomas Schulman, Dorothy Schumer, Clara Shukovsky, Harry Silvert, Samuel Sturman, Teddy Taub, Margot Walton, Stan Weinberg, Lorna Weinberger, Charlotte Weinstein, Mark Swayuker, Anne Wyshansky, Barbara Zarrow, Seymour Shrib. And each week we call 6 individual names to give a humanity to those who were murdered in the Shoah. Yitzhak Orenstein, Idel Oslander, Jacques Rector, Yanko Shmarkovich, Shaya Orachovsky, Dora Schuyler.
Zichronam Levracha, may those who have touched our lives continue to bless us through the beauty of their memory. On page 598, we rise together as a community for the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala u'v'yizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehe shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei alamaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran belma v'imru, amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to those who mourn and comfort to those who are bereaved, as together we say.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru. Amen.
Please be seated. I just want to take a moment to thank those who made donations this week in memory of loved ones and in honor of moments of joy. Donations were made this week in memory of Eugene Paris and Herb Cohen for the art site of Samuel Lipschitz, Benjamin Liu, Stephen Bursey, Edward Brenner, Harry Silvert, Samuel Lipschitz, Nathan Lazar, Stanley Bacalar, Samak Felder, Samuel Sturman, Arthur Kraus, Gerald Diamond, Faye Friedman, Louis Friedman, Robert Beer, Barry Spicer, and Leroy Friedel. Donations were made in honor of the bar mitzvah of Matthew Zwick and the birth of Maxwell James Minerva, the birth of Noam Malachi Grinwald, the baby naming of Noam Grinwald, and in honor of his aunt Zohar Grinwald, and for the wedding of Daniel Feinberg and Lisa Fierman. Donations were also made for a complete and speedy recovery for Lloyd Goldsmith, Jane Fishman, and Joel Borshoff. Finally, some happy news, some smachot. First of all, Mazel Tov to Garen and Robert Zwick on the bar mitzvah of Matt tomorrow, and Jonathan and Elise on the bat mitzvah of Jenna tomorrow. And Mazel Tov to Mindy and Dan Minerva on the birth of their grandson, Maxwell James Minerva. Max is the son of Craig and Alexa, and the little brother of Madeline. Anybody else have a baby this week? Any nice things to share? Okay, Jennifer is going to be Micah tonight. If you have something good that happened, raise your hand and Jennifer will come to you.
Look like Micah. My grandson Mikey got bar mitzvah last Saturday.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
So new, how did he do? Lovely. That's awesome. Mazel tov. I can't believe he's that old. He was just born. I know. I can't believe she's going to be bat mitzvah too. Any other nice things this week? Something good? No? All right, that's your homework. Bring something good next week to services. I certainly think having 80 people for the wonderful sisterhood dinner needs to be mentioned. And thank you to the sisterhood and the men's club who are doing such lovely work.
Hey, looks like there's a challah over here. Boy, we better uncover it. Ooh. Ah. Hey, let's join together in Hamotzi. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is joyfully said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. And let's join together in a closing song, Oseh Shalom by Yoel Sykes. Oseh Shalom imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Ve'imru
As we come in blessing, so too we leave one another in blessing. If you're sitting next to someone and it's appropriate for you to grab them close or put a hand on your heart as we share blessing with one another. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May you be blessed. May you be safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May you be luminous. May you be loved. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be joyous. May you be healthy. May you be whole. Shabbat shalom.
Oseh shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Ve'imru
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.